The Sephiwraith live. That's the sound of me slamming my microphone into the floor.
TheSephiwraith Live is filmed in front of a live recording audience.
Yeah, like viewers like you. Thank you. So, what are we talking about today, Toby?
Well,
What are we talking about today?
we're going to be talking.
What are we talking about today, Toby?
We're going to be talking today about a very simple concept that should only require a few minutes of discussion.
Yeah, this will be a good podcast if you just want to turn your brain off and relax a little.
And that's time travel.
Time travel.
Time travel.
Yeah, so just, to put a date on this, this is following the conclusion of Marvel's Loki series. It's currently, as of the day of recording, it's July 21st. So we might bring some of that into this. When we came up with the idea to do a time travel podcast, it was before that series came out. But now our theories have been built on a little bit. But yeah. All right. So first and foremost, I would just like to make the point that time we're gonna start controversy right away. Time travel is impossible because time is actually not real and is just a byproduct of a human perception.
Now, you could make the opposite argument that time travel is possible because time isn't real.
Explain.
Time is essentially like a function of what was it, matter.
No, time is the thing. Time's not real. Time is a human construct that we made up.
Something about matter and energy. Anyway, there's a theory that if you expend enough energy, you can warp what we call time, and move it around.
But time doesn't exist because time is just human perception and memory and all that. In reality, it's you can't go back in time because there's nothing to go back to. There's only the present moment. We are still in the same moment that the dinosaurs existed, only that they don't exist anymore.
So you're saying that...
How about that?
Well, yeah.
How about that?
So, if I just pretend that the dinosaurs are here right now...
I mean, if you delude yourself, if you're able to make yourself crazy enough to actually see dinosaurs, I mean, technically you're perceiving dinosaurs, so congratulations, you did it.
Yes.
But yeah, now that we've established that time travel is actually impossible because time doesn't exist and there's no debate here.
Well, we haven't tested anything around black holes yet, so it's impossible for now. No,
God, don't you know your pseudoscience? Black holes bring you to another dimension.
No, I watched Interstellar. It was Interstellar. Yeah, Interstellar brought him back in time in that one.
I've actually been meaning to rewatch Interstellar because I watched recently. I watched Gravity and I also watched The Martian. So I'm just on a space binge right now. I'm probably gonna watch. There's that movie on Paramount Plus. I think it's The Arrival, where it's a linguist has to decipher what the aliens are trying to do.
Jeremy Renner in it or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not what we're here for.
Not what we're here for.
Time travel.
We're here to talk about time travel and pseudoscience and lots of movies.
So first and foremost, we need to establish the basis. What are the rules here? All right, in your firm belief, does time travel affect, if you change the past, does it affect the future? Or, what happens? Go.
My idea of time travel is that it does change the future, but you'll never know because by the fact that you've rewritten it, you've lived that altered future, so you won't ever see the changes because you don't know what the original reality is anymore.
Okay. before I give my theory, I just want to say, I want to be a downer again. Not only is time not real, right? You're with me on that, right?
Uh-huh.
You're already there?
Okay.
Not only is time not real, so you can't time travel, but even if you could time travel, the universe is made of a finite amount of matter that is constantly expanding because of the Big Bang event, yeah? Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Still going?
Yep.
So if you time travel, you are adding your mass to a finite universe and would trigger a big crunch event, and thus end all of existence.
It's a fancy way of saying that I'm overweight, but all right.
All I'm saying is maybe go for a jog before you time travel. Eat some broccoli or something.
Now the question is, would you placing your matter into the old universe displace the universe, or would the universe crush you?
I feel like you would displace the universe because, like, I don't know. The way I see it, it's like it's kind of like water. Like it's just expanding outward because of obviously the Big Bang explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And in theory, like it'll hit the walls at some point, and then it'll come back to center. Yeah, or like when it runs out of matter, it'll just like flatline.
Eventually.
But if you drop a huge ass rock in the middle,
Yeah, it'll make huge waves, and that's no good.
and then it'll come back much faster.
Okay.
So
according to you, proof that we never invent time travel is that the universe still exists.
Correct. But that is where we get into my theory. If time travel was possible, I don't think it would affect the future. Like, I don't think your future that you time traveled back from would get affected, but I think if you altered the past, you would create, like, now we go back to Loki.
Yeah,
you would
branches.
create, like, a branch, like a branched future.
So you believe in more of like a multiverse type of thing?
Yeah, sort of. Like, I don't know, because I guess, like, the thing you have to consider, too, is, like, there's infinite possibilities for, like, different things to happen. So, like, if that kind of thing exists, I don't know necessarily that you would be able to travel between them, because, I mean, yeah, like, there's an infinite amount.
So
like,
you would be able to travel. Okay, so let's ask question number 2. It not necessarily would you be able to travel between the universes, but let's say you travel back in time and change something, and then you travel.
We should have got weed before this.
Yeah, and then you travel forward again. Do you think that you would go to your new branch, or you would go back from whence you came to your old unaffected branch?
I feel like you would go back to your old branch.
So this would be more like in Dragon Ball Z, where Future Trunks comes back in time to stop the androids, but it doesn't do anything for him.
That's a rant for another time. I got Dragon Ball Super related stuff to talk about. I'm still angry. Whenever anyone brings up Future Trunks, I'm only going to scream from now on. That's my trigger. Thank you very much. But yes, basically. I don't know. I mean, theoretically, you could go to your new timeline, but...
So there's like, there's that, and then there's the Back to the Future version where he went back he went to the past, changed something, and went back to the future, and then it was a different future. So he went back to the past and undid what he did, and it was the correct timeline again. So it's all one timeline, but it branched off from his change. But it's he wasn't able to go back to where he came from. It was just one future that existed.
It's interesting to think about, too, is, like, a world with infinite possibilities implies, infinite variations of, like, events happening in time. So would you time traveling create another branch reality when that reality was already possible to begin with because of the infinite possibilities?
So would you be making a duplicate?
That's the question, isn't it? Anyway,
That's where the TVA comes in, but
yeah, pretty much. I should have mentioned this will have spoilers, because now, like, I don't know, before that series came out, we were gonna do this based off like Marvel's Endgame, and we were just going to base our theories around like what would happen in that universe. But now there's fucking Loki came out and like ruined everything.
Yeah.
So
Endgame is weird too because spoilers for that, by the way. They don't really resolve the time changes too much, like a lot of them. Like
yeah, I feel like what probably happened. I guess we'll just talk about the MCU now. I feel like what probably happened is they did create like branch events, but they ended up like purging them. So because they already knew it was going to happen, and like they wanted it to happen because it led to a certain certain events happening, for somebody to end up on top at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like what probably happened was they just like they pruned them right away, so that way nothing bad would come of them meddling with time.
Yeah. So it's like at the end of Endgame, the blip still happened, right?
Yep.
So everybody came back, but they had all died, and pretty much everyone is alive except Natasha, right?
Don't talk about that. You did this just to hurt me.
I'm just saying, I don't understand why they couldn't undo that when they were, returning all the stones and everything. Why that didn't undo the sacrifices. But that's for our Marvel podcast. We could talk about it then.
I was about to say, Captain America should have just came back and, like, as soon as she's about to go off the cliff, just been like, not necessary anymore. Thank you very much.
Yeah. See, the Marvel.
Good job.
The Marvel model of things, of time travel, seems to imply a what's a good, not fatalistic point of view, but like a predetermined path that is immutable. That's what they're kind of going for with the one timeline type of thing. So even if they did change things, it would all end up coming to the same conclusion regardless. Now, if we apply that towards our regular time travel theory, that everything is supposed to lead somewhere.
Well, I guess that kind of goes back into our theory too, that you time travel to the past, you make variations, but then when you go back to the future, you just go to your the timeline that you already existed on. Because they made variations, yeah, but they never ended up in the variated future because they were traveling along their own timeline. I guess like the way you could think of it is like cables. Like you're only ever going to go on your one cable. Like if you hop to another cable, that's because you traveled between dimensions, because the cable only branches off at a certain point and you don't have access to that branch. Yeah.
And then there's it's not really time travel per se, but the Final Destination movie series is about a bunch of people that are supposed to die, that are like in a plane crash or something, and they survive somehow. And then like
the universe tries to kill them.
Yeah, the universe essentially tries to kill them, and it's a horror movie. So over the course of the movie, a bunch of them die until they escape, but it's like the idea that there's a predestined thing that if you escape it, the universe rights itself, and that can kind of be with time travel also. If you go into the past, there's the idea that if you go into the past and you change something, then it'll be a change in the short term, but in the long term something else will come along and fix it. To bring in like the really, really, really tired cliche of going back in time and shooting Hitler as a baby or something. There was a theory on that I forgot, it was like a story or something of like someone that went back in time that did that, and then after he leaves, like the caretaker for the baby comes and sees the baby dead and gets all like hysterical that, oh no, like I'm gonna be fired this, and substitutes her own baby.
Oh.
And just puts it there, and that baby is raised instead, and that becomes Hitler, and everything still goes on the way it's supposed to be. So like the idea that even if you go back in time and change something, it'll everything will right itself for the whatever history was supposed to be type of thing. You can't actually change things.
Well, I suppose there would also be variations there too, because like I don't know, if she replaced the baby with another baby, the other baby, I think personality. We're gonna get into a whole other thing here. I think personality is mostly nurture, but I do think there's a degree of nature just in like your mannerisms, like basically how you react to things.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I don't know, it wouldn't be like the complete same.
Right. So the question is the dictator that everybody knew, was it the actual original child, or did that only happen because this man went back in time and forced the substitution, and that was the person all along. It becomes a paradox and a philosophical problem more than anything, but it's like the idea that you don't really know if your changes actually do the thing that you want them to, because of entropy and the fact that there's a lot of random stuff that goes on in this universe that we have no idea what's going on.
Can we talk about, too, the fact that, like, I don't know, the choices that, like, it's based on the question, if you could time travel, would you kill baby Hitler or not? Why is that the only choice,
It's like, if you could time travel, maybe I'd just go back in time, 10 years and tell myself to get a MRI or something, and then save everyone a whole lot of trouble. But,
well, that's very self-serving of you. I was going to say, I'm going to go kidnap baby Hitler and raise him as my own. And Toby's like, no, me.
Well, see, once you start getting to those bigger world events, again, you have to say, is this the right course of action? There's, to get into another tangent, there's a Stephen King series, a book series that was adapted on Hulu, I think. Where a guy finds a time portal that goes back to like 1961 or something, and it only goes there, and then when you return back, it returns you to the exact time you left, but every time you go back in the time portal, it goes back to a certain day in 1961. So he decides that he's going to stay there and stop the Kennedy assassination. So he has to wait a few years, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, and it's a pretty good book. But in the end, he stops Kennedy from being assassinated. He stops Lee Harvey Oswald, and who may or may not have actually been the assassin. We'll discuss that another time.
Will we?
I don't know. I don't want to do a conspiracy podcast. I really don't.
Yeah,
but
that's
yes,
just called regular podcast. You guys need to watch Joe Rogan or something like.
So by doing so, Kennedy serves out his term, makes the Vietnam War so much worse than it was, and eventually leads to World War III and nuclear war in, I want to say, was it even? I don't think it was even Nixon's time. It was. Like Barry Goldwater or someone gets elected instead because Nixon isn't even an entity, and he starts the World War. So like it essentially like a key point of Kennedy's assassination being like the thing that keeps us from eventually having a nuclear war in the 80s or something, in the 70s. So
what I thought about? I'm going to interrupt you. You know what I thought about? My whole thing that when I was, yelling at you about how selfish you were was I was going to go kidnap baby Hitler and raise him as my own. And then I realized, wait, baby Hitler might still end up a fascist. Might still end up like a dictator, but just like completely different terms.
I'll rephrase it. Kidnap baby Hitler and have someone else raise him.
Yeah. Like go place him on like a fucking fire department like doorstep or something. Like.
Yeah. So essentially what I'm trying to say is I don't want to mess with super large events because I don't know the world spanning ramifications, but if I want to do some more personal things that I don't think that would destroy the world. But there's always that butterfly effect that you have no idea what one thing does that leads to another, which is like, the good news is that time travel is impossible because time doesn't exist, so we don't have to
Exactly.
worry about making these mistakes.
I feel like if I could time travel, I would just kind of watch. Like, I don't know if that's fucked up. Like, I wouldn't intervene because, like, I don't know. You have to have a certain
I,
level of a god complex
yeah,
to
to
be
want to
able to.
intervene, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm not arrogant enough. Like, I don't think I would be able to perceive, like, why certain things have to happen. So I'm not going to intervene because I'll fuck it up.
Like if we invented a way to like essentially just make a time travel television, like, just to view events happening in real time, like, go back and see Abraham Lincoln given the Gettysburg Address, or something like that. I think that would be really cool and probably be monetized and become super expensive. But yeah, it like if there was just an ability to only view things, that would be super super cool.
Yeah, like I would just kind of hang around in the background and just like watch things unfold. Be like, wow, the Spanish flu. That stuff's awful.
Man,
And then I
good
catch
thing
it and
something
die.
like that will never happen again.
Yeah, awesome. Am I right?
Can't wait for 2120.
So if we could time travel, we're going to 2016.
Okay. So here's the next question. We've only been talking about time traveling backward. What if you could time travel forward? That wouldn't affect the future because you going there, you would not affect, or wouldn't affect your past by going there, because anything
You'd
that you
affect the
do,
future's future, though.
the future's future. Um, it's yeah, but who cares? It's not our future.
Again with the self-serving.
No,
May-
it's the same thing.
maybe
It's the same
I
thing with
care.
people not caring about global warming and stuff. It's because it's not going to happen in my lifetime. But no, but like seriously, like if you could go like 200 years in the future, and just like go around and do stuff, would you? As opposed to going in the past where you could destroy, the past that you know. This is a future that you'll never reach.
I feel like I would be more interested in retreading the past than going to the future because, like, I don't know, just from like my brain perspective, the past I can pretty much already know what happens. I just have to read a history book. So it's like time traveling to the past. Sorry.
It's a little
time
safer.
Yeah, well, I mean, not only that, time traveling to the past, like, I'm just, like, I'm adding to the experience. I already know I already know what happened. Now I just get a different perspective on it. But if I time travel to the future, that's spoilers. And then it's like, what's the point of life? You already know what's going to happen in the future. So you just move towards the future, and then you
Right.
get really, really bored.
Well, unless we believe in the idea that it's not a singular path, and you branch it off. If you get a glimpse into the future and you see things are going bad, and you get a chance to change it.
Yeah, but I feel like that kind of goes back to like my theory about why I wouldn't change the past is because I'm not like I don't.
You
think
don't
I
have
would
a
be able
god
to-
complex.
I wouldn't be able to like cognitively like
Are you saying that
interpret.
you wouldn't want to become a prophet of doom, telling people that that in exactly, 20 years, 5 days, and 17 minutes,
Oh, I would. Like, hang on. That's a whole different thing. But we're talking about like I don't think I would be able to cognitively perceive, what events would alter time to like the ideal path I want to be on. I would 100% fuck with people. That is very in line with my personality.
and also ask for a lot of money in the process, that you know exactly when the end of the world is, and you've used actual math to calculate it. And
I'm gonna blow you guys' mind again. Money doesn't exist either. It's fake. Money is a human construct also.
and
Pretty much,
that's why they say time is money.
they say that college turns you into a liberal, but all college has made me realize is that everything is fake. Like
Math,
all-
time, money, it's all fake.
all aspects of our reality is just made up bullshit to give life meaning. Like all there is like existence and continued existence, and that's it.
And anime waifus.
and anime waifus.
Its existence in anime waifus, and that's it. Sometimes
That's all you got.
Sometimes chicken nuggets also.
Yeah, chicken nuggies.
Okay,
Give
so
life meaning.
so we're at 26 minutes now. Actually,
We got
a
4
little
minutes
less.
to fill.
Yeah,
4
25.
minutes to fill.
So
what
here's
here's
the
Time
question.
travel.
Here's the question. If you the question everyone asks, if you could time travel back to one event, just to watch, what would it be?
I gotta think about that one. You're gonna have to tell me yours.
Okay, so this one's gonna be religious.
Oh, okay.
I would probably want to either time travel back to the revelation at Sinai of when God appearing to the Jewish people after leaving the land of Egypt. Assuming that religion is real as well, and that this things actually happen, and that's not going to be a podcast.
Are you sure?
It just I would love to see that event play out, because the Bible makes it sound really cool. Or if that wasn't an option, it would probably be to the Second Temple period of just seeing the height of the Jewish existence in Israel 2,000 years ago. I think that would be cool.
I want to go back to the moon landing. I want to watch it.
That would be cool too.
I realize I can just do the same thing. Like, I can just, go watch, footage of,
Right, but
they
the
aired
footage
on the moon
doesn't.
landing?
The footage back then, from back then, isn't the best.
It
It
also
would be
doesn't
cool to see
capture-
it live.
It doesn't capture, the full emotion, because it's
Mhm.
everyone around you is all, ecstatic that they're about to land on the
Right.
moon, and then
This
you
thing
get,
has never
the
happened.
Glorious,
Yeah.
and then you get, the glorious payoff that you end up landing on the moon.
According to some people.
Exactly. I don't know. Let's talk about. We got 3 minutes. We can fit in
Yeah.
John's conspiracy theories. I'm willing to believe to a degree that the moon landing was fake. I'm willing to give them the possibility that the first moon landing was fake, because we were trying to beat the Soviets, and it's a lot easier to make a Hollywood set look like the moon than it is to actually go to the moon. But I find it very hard to believe that we have never actually been to the moon.
Yeah,
Because,
there were
at
several
some
moon
point,
landings.
at some point, it's gonna be hard. There were several events. At some point, it's just hard to hide that kind of thing,
Right. Also, the fact that you can see the stuff on the moon. There are pictures, not from the moon landings, but from, flybys and stuff, of the stuff we left behind on the moon. So, someone was there.
Can we talk about that we're polluting space? This is peak humanity right
Yeah.
there. We're just
Yeah.
leaving shit all over the place.
Especially the orbit of the Earth. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's gonna come back to bite us.
Yeah, I mean it already is, but
Have you guys ever seen Cowboy Bebop? Not saying that's what's gonna happen, but that's definitely what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Let's be honest, Cowboy Bebop is the most realistic, depiction of what would happen if humans mastered space travel. All that would happen is people would start, it would be the Wild West in space.
Right.
Everyone would just be, assholes.
It's
but in
space truckers and bounty hunters.
It's not going to be this
And drug
utopian
dealers,
wonderland.
yeah.
It's just going to be us being douchebags in the stars.
But it's very entertaining.
It is entertaining. It is entertaining. And also the space mafia. That's interesting. I want to start that.
Oh god. All right, so question for people listening: what do you think if time travel existed? What kind of time travel would it be? The deterministic or branch theory or what have you? What's your theories on time travel?
Yeah. And if you think we're fucking wrong, well, guess what? You're an idiot, and you don't understand this to the degree that we do, so shut up and die.
It's impossible for us to be wrong because this is all theory.
Time doesn't exist. We wasted a half hour of your time. You're welcome.
Or did we?
Oh yeah, because time doesn't exist. So
Nothing was
we didn't
wasted.
waste shit. Anyway, so this podcast and the next one are going to be a bit on the shorter side. We have to get some like filler ones done, so that way we actually have content. We don't have to stress out about it. Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this discussion about time travel. Don't be too mad.
It's good times. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Ba, 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 ba.